What's going on, everybody? Listen, I am here to give you guys an update with the Richardson mortuary story. In case if you guys do not remember that in April, we reported some things that were going on at the Richardson mortuary. So we are here to go over that and me to give you an update on all that's going on. But before we get into that, copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teaching, scholarships, and research. Fair use is permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. All right, with that being said, y'all, let's go ahead and get into it, child. All right, so I want to go ahead and refresh everybody's memory of what happened. There was a young man that had went to the mortuary to check on his mother and uncle's body. Well, unfortunately, when he got there was no air. There were bodies laying around everywhere. And so I just want to play this quick video so that you guys can get just a reference as to what happened and why we are where we are now.
Bro, they just got people in these caskets in this building being worked on. Doors wide open. If y'all got people, check on them. Door wide open, bro. They doing construction on this building. It's over here on Fuquay. It's called Richardson Memorial. So if y'all got people, man, at this memorial home services, bro, y'all better check on them, man. People not doing what they supposed to do with y'all family members. These people. Bro, if y'all got family up here, bro, come check on them. Come check on y'all people, man. Bro, they got my mom in this building while it's being worked on. Doors wide open, bro. It's hot in there.
What I'm going to do so that it can kind of lessen the confusion, I will also put the link to my previous YouTube video about this in the description box. So basically what happened was, again, a guy and his sister had went down to the mortuary to check on their mother. And I do still have a lot of questions that need to be answered in this, but he went to go check on his mother and come to find out the place was under construction. They didn't have any air conditioning and the bodies were just laying around. Some were covered up, some were not covered up. And it was just kind of disgusting to see. Well, with that happening, The guy and the lady that were there, they were with some staff members there at the mortuary, and they kept stating that they weren't going to leave without their mother's body. Well, unfortunately, an altercation went down allegedly, and the guy was allegedly stabbed by the workers there. What we do know is that they did get into it. And what we do know is that it wasn't a pretty sight. Check this out.
Texas says the Houston funeral home accused of improperly storing bodies is not properly complying with orders laid out by the Texas Funeral Service Commission.
Today was the deadline for Richardson Mortuary to come into full compliance after families said the air conditioning wasn't working properly. KPRC2 was the first to learn about this update and sent you a news alert just after 2:30. We were also the first to bring you the story last month. KPRC2's Rowan Belogan joining us live in the newsroom to explain why, at this point, Rowan, those owners can't even get into the mortuary.
Yeah, Lisa and Andy, the funeral home owners, Michael Richardson and Gail Bell, told state officials they no longer have access to the mortuary because the building owner terminated their lease. Now, today we made several attempts at trying to get in touch with them.
I'm sorry, I'm unable to take your call right now.
This is Rowan with Channel 2. I'm trying to get in touch with you to see if you're available to speak with us about the report from the Texas Funeral Service regarding Richardson's mortuary. We left a voicemail for Gail Bell, listed as one of the co-owners of Richardson Mortuary, after several bodies in their care were transported elsewhere following a state investigation. We then looked up addresses, trying to give them as many opportunities to give the families an explanation. So there's a chain on this gate here. This is one of the addresses listed for the Richardsons. We will go try another location. We even tried visiting their mortuary's previous location listed by the states at 3515 Crawford Street, which is now a parking lot owned by HCC. And the Texas Funeral Service Commission said 5 companies in total helped relocate the deceased. The owners of Richardson Mortuary told the state as their landlord ends their lease, there isn't a plan for them to reopen. The investigation by the states is ongoing. Live in the newsroom, Rowan Belogan, KPRC 2 News.
Rowan, thank you.
So there you have that. But let's get into this quick article. A Houston mortuary is now closed with no plans to reopen after only partially complying with the state amid an ongoing investigation into regulatory violations. On October the 14th, the Texas Funeral Service Commissions issued a cease and desist letter directing Richardson Mortuary to comply with a series of regulatory mandates and to ensure accountability, transparency, and the public safety within 14 days. Yeah. It didn't go. This followed an on-site inspection conducted by the commission on April the 11th of 2025. Which revealed serious regulatory concerns at the mortuary. The investigation was triggered after families allegedly entered the facility and recorded videos showing bodies in poor conditions inside the mortuary, later posting them to social media. Houston police reported that during the incident, a worker at the mortuary stabbed a man who was recording, with the worker claiming self-defense. A total of 13 bodies were removed from the facility and taken to a different location. The commission issued a directive that called for records and information, including a complete list of all licensed embalmers and funeral directors employed between April of 2024 until April of 2025, and documents of all funeral services provided during that time frame. They also call for a list of all descendants, their next of kin, and the names of the transport companies and funeral establishments involved in the transfer and storage of the remains over the past year. Richardson Mortuary representative Michael Richardson and Gail Bell reportedly submitted only some of the required documents, citing health issues and other challenges that prevented full compliance with the 14-day deadline. An exclusive interview from Rick, attorney representing Michael Richardson, said that his client has been hospitalized with a serious health condition. He is very sorry for the delay. He is very sorry for their appeared lack of communication, DeSoto said. When asked about families waiting up to a year for cremation remains, he said, I can tell you that Mr. Richardson is devastated by what has happened. DeSoto, or Deto, I'm sorry, claimed that Richardson was blindsided by the situation and described him as a pillar of the community. When questioned if someone else was managing operations during Richardson's illness, he responded with, yeah, definitely. There was somebody in charge, and we're not prepared to talk about that or tell that to the public. But I do know that there's a backstory. Richardson Mortuary also reported that its lease was terminated and accuses them of not holding up to their agreement. Access to the building has been revoked, shutting down the business with no plans to reopen, questioning the need for passing a new inspection. Due to Richardson's health, the commission plans to send state investigators to Houston next week to collect the remaining records in person. The funeral home said that several remains were removed from the facility between April the 11th and April the 14th by using Spectrum Death Care Services for most transports with help of other providers. The Texas Funeral Home Commission received a list of descendants and the names of each and every, or the next of kin. A week after the cease and desist order, Houston Police Department took custody of 89 sets of cremated remains, to reunite with their families. Some families say that they've been waiting on remains for months, with some claims extending up to 2 years. The state's investigation into Richardson Mortuary is ongoing, and officials will decide on potential fines, penalties, or license actions once the review is complete. Ooh, child, this is a mess, ain't it? I just wanted to give you guys an update on the Houston funeral home, Richardson Mortuary, and what they had going on. Sounds like a bunch of nasty work around there, if you ask me. But drop down in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think. And we'll go from there, and I'll keep you guys updated on this story as promised. Talk to you later. Peace.